I've got one for Mayor Curtis Sliwa. But before we get to Sean Hannity's comments, which for some reason pissed off Curtis, not surprising, but they did. 32 years ago today, Curtis, John Gotti tried to have you executed here in New York City. I believe you took 5 or 6 gunshots to the belly, and you went through a couple of decades of real misery up until a couple of years ago. So 32 years ago, does it feel like yesterday?
Yes, it does. Last night I was in Fort Totten. Vicky Palladino had her fireworks extravaganza in honor of America's birthday, July 4th. Amazing. How many Sid Rosenberg WABC fans? I had 50,000 people there. One of the women was a nurse in the ER in Bellevue the morning that I was wheeled in, shot with hollow point bullets. And she had pointed out how they were opening me up before the anesthesia even started taking effect. Because
do you remember that?
I remember that.
It was painful.
Well, to be honest, I had so much other pain from the hollow point bullets.
Yeah.
That was the least of it. And then I woke up a day and a half later. I was in the ICU. I woke up. I looked to my left. I saw Ed Koch, who had been my nemesis. And I thought I had died and gone straight to hell without an asbestos suit. I saw Cardinal O'Connor in the corner with the extremunction vest. That's the death vestments. When you're gone, they're going to say the final prayer. That's how close I came to being eliminated from this earth on June 19th of 1992 while coming to WABC to do the morning show at that time.
Wow.
And you talk about threats, right? Like I saw Mondami yesterday crying, I'm being threatened, I have to have armed guards. Let me tell you something, Mondami. Why don't you use social workers? Because you don't want cops in the city. Why don't you get some social workers to protect you? That's what you're saying you'd rather have than cops. You think anyone has ever been threatened more than Curtis Sliwa by John Gotti Sr. to John Gotti Jr. and the Gambino crime family? And the hit was sanctioned by Fat Joe Messino of the Bonanno crime family. So the point is, I was a hit. And all these guys, wow. And then the Prince of Darkness, right? Andrew Cuomo, the essence of Satan. How do you mention his father, Mario Cuomo, remember, said there's no such thing as organized crime. It's an aberration. Hey, Cuomo, I am going to post the bullet holes today on my social networking after 1 o'clock. You're going to see how many times I was shot. And then you talk about there's no such thing as Italian organized crime, huh?
He did say that. He actually used the word mafia. But talking about Andrew Cuomo, and by the way, thank God you're okay, and we love you here. You know I love you. You and I have become very, very close. I thought you were going to die one night, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being over dramatic here. When Gabriel was a little boy, and I took him to the Brooklyn Cyclones game, and they had you and I there to throw out the first pitch and honor us, I think you came, I'm being serious, very close to death that night. Did you?
Yes. You remember they brought me into the trainer's room. They laid me on the table. It was really bad. They were going to take me to Maimonides. And I said, no, Maimonides. I'm not going. I'm sorry, I'm not going. And Nancy helped get me back. But you saw me. I was like walking death. I was down to about 140 pounds.
Pale as a ghost. You were doubled over in pain. Eventually, you couldn't even double over. You had to lay down. And I really thought we were going to lose you that night. So thank God you're okay. But you mentioned Anthony Cuomo, and I played that Andrew Cuomo, and I played that Sean Hannity clip. And I would have thought you would have been like, hey, that's great. Hannity's endorsing me too, but not that easy.
The rock-red, all-American conservative voice of reason from Franklin Square, Long Island. He's down in Florida. I don't know if he dropped a Stanley Cup because he's a Panthers fan, but he's been away too long. He was saying, well, Cuomo, maybe there'll be some Rudy Giuliani in him. You heard that. There ain't no way there's any Rudy Giuliani in Andrew No Cash Bail Cuomo. Turn all the criminals loose. Come on, he doubled down on it. I got to call up Sean. I got to say, hey, Sean. You cannot be saying that about the Prince of Darkness, the essence of Satan. If you ever saw that movie, this is what Andy Cuomo is. I got to straighten people out. There's going to be a 5-person race now in the general, and it doesn't matter, Mondami or Cuomo. They're all in the general. They have different lines. It's going to be. I start with 30%. You know, the only one who has spoken on my behalf loudly was Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. The other afternoon, she had a luncheon at the Union League, and Mike Henry, who's running for Attorney General, he's been such a great friend. And she introduces me and says, come up here. I want you to talk. She's in the middle of talking. The only person ever to do that before was you, Sid. Remember, at the Metropolitan Club annual dinner at the same Union League.
No, I've done it twice. Let me remind you, not just the Met Club, but in Staten Island, when no one even recognized you, including Frank on the mic, I had you speak before me there, too. Did I not?
I pointed you did.
I did, yes.
But she gave me the mic halfway through a presentation. Elise Stefanik said, we have the next mayor of the city of New York here who I'm fully supporting, and I want you to come up, Curtis. And you know that's dangerous, giving me the mic. I only spoke 2 minutes, respectful to Elise Stefanik.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume then that off of my conversation with Mike Lawler, who I love and I thought was great today, that if it comes down to Stefanik and Lawler, you'll be endorsing Elise.
Oh, she agreed to be my designated debater in the two debates. If Cuomo sees Elise Stefanik, he will have cardiac arrest. You will not be able to revive it. Right? Like have designated hitters. Ohtani, Stanton, if it's Yankees, Dodgers again. Yeah. My designated debater, I'm going to wave to the moderator. Hey, I got the superstar here. I give up my position to Congresswoman Elise Stefanik.
Well, in very similar fashion, while Elise will be your designated hitter, today you're going to be my designated hitter at this big pro-America, pro-Israel rally right outside the Iran consulate, 41st and 3rd, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Tough Jews like Ronnie Teresian from Beitar and the king of all Jews, Dov Hikind. It's doubtful I'll be there. There's a chance, but doubtful. But if I'm not there, you're going to be there.
Wait, the last time this happened, Dov Hikind was stuck on a layover in Ireland. Remember, he was supposed to speak outside the Chancellor of CUNY's office on 42nd Street. All the Jews were there. Ina Vernikov always there. She was more than happy to give me the microphone, but the other Jews said, we don't want to offend Eric Adams.
I remember.
Even though it was the wish of Dov Hikind.
Yes.
Nobody more Jewish, nobody more supporter of Jews than Dov Hikind, and they wouldn't give me the microphone. I will substitute for the king. That's right. Oh, King David II. And I expect that this righteous Gentile will be given an opportunity because I heard the all-star lineup that's showing up today. And again, could you give the location here, please?
It is on 41st and 3rd, Curtis. Thank you very much. Outside the Iranian consulate. The exact address is 622 3rd Avenue. It'll be 4 o'clock, which means it'll be early enough you're going to miss those severe thunderstorms later. So there'll be no excuses. Ronnie's out there from Beitar, Dov Hikind, Curtis Lewa, maybe Sid Rosenberg. If you're Jewish or not, get your ass out there.
By the way, and don't start reading from your cell phone. I hate this. I got to read from my cell phone my speech. No, if you can't speak from your heart, your gut, your soul about this issue, Iran wants to destroy America. We're the evil Satan. Whether you like Jews or you don't like Jews, when they come out of their day of Juma tomorrow, Friday, out of the mosque, what's the first thing they start? Death to the big Satan, America. Death to the little Satan, Israel. Notice Israel is second. They want to destroy us. So if you are not going to be, and I'm speaking not just to Jews now, but righteous Gentiles, Israel's battle against Iran is our battle, is the world's battle. We must destroy their nuclear capacity, or they said they're going to drop it on Israel. They don't care if they get incinerated.
100%. So in the final 60 seconds, Curtis, and Curtis, I believe, is on this show more than any other. Still, he was on 5 days a week. He's on here at least 2 days a week. So we know what Sid and Friends in the Morning thinks about Curtis Sliwa. I look at the Democrats, 3 guys in particular. Mayor Eric Adams walks around town, and the Jews love him. They love him. This despite the fact he's dined with Farrakhan. He's still best buddies with a Jew hater named Al Sharpton. And he's only a couple of days removed from smoking cigars at Gracie Mansion with a renowned Jew hater named Sneeko. That's Adams.
Well, he claimed that he sneaked in. He had no idea.
Please.
Why doesn't anybody ask him about the guy who was his mentor, Screwy Louis Farrakhan? Denounce Farrakhan. He won't do that. According to every poll in America amongst African Americans, the second most revered black American male after Barack Obama is not Al Slim Shady Sharpton. It's Screwy Louis Farrakhan.
I know it. So Adams has done all that. Then you get Mamdani, who, like you said, was crying about, oh, they call me an anti-Semite. Let me say this to you, Mamdani. Okay, and I tweeted you this. You son of a bitch. You are an anti-Semite. You're a BDS-loving, Jew-hating scumbag, and I'll do everything in my power, whatever power I've got, to make sure that you get nowhere near Gracie Mansion. I know you don't tweet me back. You tweet back Vicky Palladino and the rest of these people, but I also know you see my tweets, okay? I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you, Mamdani. You're not going to win. You hate the Jews. Then you get Cuomo. He writes an article every now and then for City and State. He speaks at synagogues on Saturday morning. But, for those 18 months when it was terrifying to be a Jew in New York City, and I was at Columbia with you, and I was at Cooper Union with you, I never saw Andrew Cuomo. Point is, those top three guys, for all the Jew-loving they contend, especially Cuomo and Adams, they're phonies. The only candidate that has been there for the Jews from today to 40 years ago at Crown Heights is Curtis Sliwa.
Thank you. And the Prince of Darkness, the essence of Satan, Andy Cuomo, continues bamboozling everyone. But I want to make headlines today because nobody has said this. Mondami crying like a little Mama Luke yesterday. Did Curtis Sliwa cry when Gotti Sr. sanctioned a hit to Gotti Jr. and the Gambinos on me? I didn't cry. You got to man up. Everybody, I'm tough. Hey, Mondami, what about being protected by social workers? You don't want cops. You want social workers out there. What's good for you should be good for everyone else, but you don't want to set the example, just like all these fugazi hypocrites. No Cuomo.